So Nick, most people are familiar with the down payment and know that that's a piece of the puzzle when buying a home. There's also the closing costs. So what are they? How much are they? And when do they come into play?
Obviously, yeah, down payment, everyone thinks about that, but the closing costs are going to be all the third party costs that go into doing the transaction. So anything from the appraisal, running your credit, checking to see if you're in a flood zone, all of these things are part of the closing cost. The title company, they're going to issue title insurance, they're going to do their thing, recording the deed of trust with the county to make the house like officially yours. They're of course going to charge for that. So all these third party things are going to go into the transaction, and they make up your closing costs. So when we start incurring costs is after you've applied, after you're under contract, maybe you've done a home inspection, but that doesn't factor into your loan transaction. That's kind of separate.
Gotcha.
So after all of that, I issue a loan estimate. So you look at all the numbers for the transaction. And then at that point, you can decide, yes, I want to move forward. We can order an appraisal.
Okay.
And so that's when it's typically around $700-800 for an appraisal these days, and you pay that upfront, and you're credited that amount at closing.
One other thing I wanted to ask you about is if you can finance your closing costs. Is that possible?
It's possible in certain loan programs. So, and you can get really creative in certain situations as well. You can actually opt for a higher interest rate, and the lender will issue you a credit so towards your closing costs. So maybe the monthly payment isn't the biggest thing that you're worried about, but it is that cash to close. So you can instead of I'm not going to say a specific rate, but instead of taking that rate, we take it a quarter point higher or something like that, and the lender issues you a credit towards your closing costs.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also, again, I think I mentioned before, the state bond program through the Washington State, and it's a great program that allows you to finance closing costs. And essentially what that does, it's a silent second mortgage that you get, kind of tacked on, sitting behind your first mortgage that you don't actually make a payment on and does not accrue interest. So once you pay off the home or sell it or refinance, you'll have to take care of that balance of that second mortgage, but it is a great way to finance closing costs up front, get you in a home and start building equity.
It comes up with clients often that they will be very curious about what the closing costs will look like on a specific home. So when they identify a specific house, pending on it or not, given the property taxes and things, you're able to come up with a fairly realistic number?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like one of my favorite parts of the job, sitting at home after work, 7:30 p.m. On a Thursday, and I just get a text, hey, check out this address. What do you think? I'm like, great. Let's run the numbers. And so I love to put those quotes together. And then that way I've had an application done, with this client. So I know their credit score. I know all the specifics, and I can really piece together a very accurate quote for them to look at. It just takes me, 15, 20 minutes.
And I know Nick's kidding about sitting at home at 7:30, but you sent me just a really wonderful, and our clients that we're working with, a video on Loom last night about a property that they reached out to you with, and you dove right into it and just broke everything down. That was really a great way to get that information across.
I think that was around 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Well,
again, that's just the best though. It's a relaxed setting. It's just one of my favorite things to do.
Cool.
Mess around on my computer. My son's sitting in my lap. He likes to look at the numbers, like to look at the house. Really, he likes to say, "Oh, I love the stairs." He comments on it, but at the same time, I'm putting together a quote that I'm going to send to my clients.
Nice. Multitasking.
Yeah.
Dad life.
Yeah.